Welcome to Crossroads, a weekly community affairs program.
Thank you for being here for Crossroads this morning, and I was so excited when I found out our next guest was available to come on the show. I couldn't do this morning without her. The start of a new school year, a new principal, a new vision at Minneapolis North High School, and spearheading all of that with me this morning is Ellen Hebert, the new principal at North. Thank you so much for being here on Crossroads.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Now, I was reading your bio and your story. You were a student at North, and you've come back to be the principal.
Yes.
And it's like Joe Clark, lean on me.
There you go.
You're going over that, and you're doing things. And what's your vision for the school?
My vision is to bring it back to the luster and greatness that it was when I was in high school. And I know people always say, oh, back in the day, but I still think that spirit is there. And my charge and my lead is to put it out so that everyone understands what's going on within the four walls, if you will, at North High School. So, and you know, the other things like closing the achievement gap and increasing our enrollment, and you know, just some other things that we're looking at to bring it back to a school of excellence.
Now, the thing is that, you know, we, come from the inner city, and we want to get out and do better and get to the suburbs, and we want to look back at North and, you know, snub our nose up or say, oh, poor North High School. You know, but and why would you want that headache to go back and try to fix all that and repair it and make it a better place? Why would you take on a challenge like that?
Well, see, I don't look at it as a challenge, and it's not a headache for me. It is right within everything that I dreamed about being a 14, 15-year-old girl walking the streets of the hallways of North High School. You know, growing up in the inner city, single mom, you know, all those things. And what a great testimony I can be for folks that I come from the very conditions that they are currently living, if you will, and can find success in a number of different areas. If you asked me at 14, 15, would I be the principal of North High School? Probably my conceited side of me would have said yes. But because that is the type of environment that I grew up in. That's the type of environment that the educators that were there expected of us, expected excellence of us, and expected us to do nothing but the greatest that was available to us.
And see, that's the problem that I have now. A lot of times, it just doesn't seem like the kids are held accountable to a higher standard. It's like, just do enough, just do your homework, just come to school and just be present and breathe and we'll be okay. But you are charging these students to go beyond that. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. We talk about excellence all the time. And there was a quote I used to say when I worked at another high school, and that was, if excellence is in sight, good is never enough. And so my vision is that we are always pushing for excellence. So good isn't enough. A C is good, a B is better, but A is excellent. So if an A is in the horizon, that's what you're going to push for. I was in the cafeteria the other day at lunchtime, and I was cleaning up the tables. And a student said to me, Miss Hebert, are you the principal? You're not supposed to do that. And I said, well, yes, I am, because I want this place to be a place of excellence. That is my responsibility. It's not that I just sit in the office and, you know, tell people what to do. I have to walk the walk as well as talk the talk.
So what does it do for your students when they see you out there hands-on, cleaning up the cafeteria, lunchroom tables, talking to parents, walking the halls, not just sitting behind a desk shuffling papers and getting the budgets together? What does that do for your students and your staff?
Yes. Well, my hope is that they can see that I am truly embracing the things that I'm talking about. I'm not sure what it does for them, but I'll tell you what it does for me, is it keeps me grounded. It reminds me daily of what's really important, and that's the kids and the students. And every day that I come into work, I say, what today am I going to do for the kids? And when I leave work every day, I say, what did I do for the kids today? Now, in between that time, you know, I'm not sure, I kind of get lost in meetings and telephone calls and emails, but that's what keeps me grounded my beginning and end of day. Just making sure that I stay focused on the kids.
And, you know, I was talking to a good girlfriend of mine, and I told her that you were coming on the show, and she was so excited. And she said, you know, the vision of the principal is the vision of the school. If the principal is dedicated, hands-on, has the students first, then so will the teachers, so will the staff, so will the administrators. If the principal really doesn't care, then the teachers won't care, and then the students will suffer. Do you feel that way?
I do, you know, but I am just truly blessed being at North, because the staff there, they're solid. I mean, they are solid. They are committed to the students. They are committed to North, and they know that it's been a whirlwind for me coming in new. It's being my first principalship, you know, head job, as well as coming into a situation that needs, you know, a lot of time and attention. And the fortunate thing that I have for my staff is they will come to me, you know, with a concern, a problem, or what have you, but always coupled with a solution, a potential solution. And so it makes my job so much easier. So it's not, you know, we have a problem A. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do about it?
Yes.
You in charge. Come on, give me some information. This is the problem. How are we going to solve it?
Exactly. You know, Miss Big Bucks, go ahead and do it.
Right.
But no, what they do is they say, you know, hey, Hebert, we have problem A. This is what I'm thinking. And then I have the opportunity to say, that's great. Or I have the opportunity to say, well, let's look at it this way too. How can we manage it? And so, you know, it's a wonderful place to be. And this isn't just, I tell my flight attendant face, you know, it's truly, truly a great place to be.
Now, with all the positives, there are some challenges. What are some of the biggest challenges that you see coming in as principal?
One of our biggest challenges right now is the enrollment. Our enrollment is down, and you know there are a number of different reasons that affect our enrollment, and you know a part of it is just the community we live in. I was looking at a news segment where they had a map with the abandoned houses and the houses that were on foreclosure, and it was just a lot of red dots, if you will, in the area that we pull students from. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only reason, but there are a number of different reasons that our enrollment is down. And so we have to, and I challenge my staff with this, is we have to make sure that our product at North is something that people want to buy, and that why would I want my kid to come to North?
Exactly.
You know, that's the question that we have to be able to answer with integrity, with honesty, and with passion about why we want families to bring their kids back to North High School.
Because, you know, for a time, you know, I was talking to people who lived there. They were zoned to North. They were putting down the auntie's addresses and grandmama's address and the co-worker's address so that they could send their kids somewhere else.
That's true. And, you know, when I went to North, there was a time where the students at North had to be transported to Edison for a semester because of desegregation. And there were people that did that because they, at that time, didn't want to go to the other high school. But I think, you know, what we have to do at North is not to have people want to do things illegally. Let me say that.
Because that's
exactly. But I want people to have that desire, and it is there. It is there right now. But I'm not sure how that message got lost. And so, you know, I'm looking at data. I'm having, you know, casual conversations with alums, with people that have kids that should be going to North, but they have them going elsewhere, and just saying, why did you make the decision not to have your kid come to North? And being tough enough and strong enough to be able to take the negative comments, if you will.
Now, tell me something. You know, I just really believe that it's important for us to see us.
Yes.
In schools,
Yes.
in leadership positions.
Yes.
Our principal is a black woman.
Yes.
The woman in charge at our school looks like me.
Yes.
You know, she comes from the neighborhood I come from. What does that do for especially the young black girls who get all these negative images on BET and MTV and VH1? Here's a strong, successful black woman, came from my neighborhood, and now she's in charge of educating me. What does that do for those girls?
Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. And I think, you know, I look at my own charge when I was in high school, and I had the luxury of having two teachers, two black female teachers in science, if you know, just to say that, who I was able to look for. And so my hope is that they would have the same type of response that I did, to see that there are women who are educated, who are strong, who don't play in the classroom. They're not going to let you settle for less. I remember Miss Cotman, that was my science teacher. I was like, well, I'm just going to get a C. And she said, no, you're not. And pushed me, and I was mad as a hornet's nest at her. And I hope that, because now